Okay, so welcome everybody to the information session for the Corporate Startup Lab case competition for the fall of 2022. I am Sean Mawhinney. I am one of the program managers at Corporate Startup Lab. I will have a little presentation to share with you guys. It will be very quick. Won't even take 10 minutes. And then I will turn it over to any of you that may have questions about the case competition that I was not able to answer in my presentation. Hopefully I'll get most of them so that you will have all the information you need. But again, feel free to either enter something in the chat or, we'll have a Q&A that you're more than welcome to come on screen to ask your questions for after the quick presentation. So let me jump right into that right now. And of course, if any questions come up while this is going on, please type them in the chat box and I will be sure to address them. The first question that I would anticipate that many of you would have is simply, what is CSL? What is Corporate Startup Lab? And so I just want to start with a little background about who we are. Corporate Startup Lab is an initiative out of the Schwartz Center for Entrepreneurship at Carnegie Mellon University, which is a interdisciplinary group focused on promoting and creating transformative innovation within mid to large size companies. So we have the startup right there in our name. Our belief is that a startup is really just a business idea or a company with the mission, with the goal of starting small and becoming large. So that can just as easily happen in the traditional garage as it could within a large company. One of the finest examples of this in the world is Apple. Was a very famous computer company that decided to create a phone. And now they are a phone company that also makes computers. So that iPhone started as a startup idea within a large company. And this can really happen anywhere. So our goal is to promote that. And we've done that in a number of ways since our inception about 5 years ago, starting with a capstone project course at Carnegie Mellon University, but expanding to offer various offers, including executive education, research tools. We have an annual forum and many other programs that center around corporate entrepreneurship. So one of our key partners and supporters over the past 5 years has been a company called Optum. And that's probably the second question I want to address here. Who is Optum and what is Optum Startup Studio, which is our sponsor for this case competition? Well, Optum is a subsidiary company out of United Health Group, one of the largest companies out there, a Fortune 6 company really, and has about a third of the US healthcare market. Optum started about 10 years ago, a little bit longer, and really is a multi-headed beast. It's a pharmaceutical company, a healthcare company, of course, and also a technology company. And their innovation wing, as it were, really took off with the creation of the Optum Startup Studio. So I'm not going to read through everything that's on the screen here and not take up your time and bore you, but Optum Startup Studio essentially presents prompts to healthcare startups, allows the healthcare startups to submit their ideas to tackle these challenges that Optum is facing. And then they compete in almost a similar manner as a case competition to get the funding and the resources from Optum to actually go out and then solve these problems and become larger companies. So that's a little bit about what Optum Startup Studio is and who Optum is, and as well as who CSL is. If you have any questions on those, of course, you feel free to ask them or to reach out to me anytime if you're interested in learning more. But you guys are really here for information about the case competition. So let's get started there. First off with our theme. And the theme is health equity. All right, that's a topic that is very important to Optum and also to us here at CSL. And this case competition is going to be presenting you with a problem in healthcare equity and asking you to solve it through innovation, innovative ideas, products, and services. All right, so that's just the theme. The actual prompt will come out on September 28th when the competition gets started in earnest. But this is just a taste of what is to come. You can learn more about the theme again by asking me any questions you might have, or by reading a little bit more on our website. But to give the general timeline of what's to come, registration is still open for a little bit more than a week. It is set to close at midnight on September 23rd, all times being Eastern Standard Time. However, I'll just give you a heads up on that. If you're a little bit late on that deadline, it's not really going to matter. I know some of you are coming in from the West Coast here tonight. So if you're still working on it late Friday night on September 23rd and it's already past midnight on the East Coast, don't worry. I'm going to be asleep at that point anyway, so I won't check submissions until the morning. And even if you're late on Saturday morning into the afternoon, I'll probably still accept those as well. But the other deadlines that you'll see here are not so loose. Everybody that is participating in this competition will receive the prompt at the same time on September 28th at 12 p.m. You will then have about 4.5 days to work on the prompt and deliver the first round submissions at midnight Eastern Time on October 3rd. The finalists will be announced about 10 days later on October 12th, and the final presentations will take place in person in Pittsburgh at Carnegie Mellon's campus at a date that's still being determined for full transparency there. We're just trying to make sure that the judges all can be available at the same time. So we have kind of a wide window there, but we should know very soon. And it's looking like it will be at the front end of this window, October 19th to November 4th. So if you're trying to plan out in the long term, think more of closer to the 19th, 20th, 21st than into November. But we'll hopefully have final confirmation on that early next week and let you guys know. The final step in the process would be the winner will actually be invited back to Carnegie Mellon's campus to talk at the Corporate Entrepreneurship Forum on November 16th. As I mentioned, that's one of the other programs that Corporate Startup Lab runs, and is a very, very large event where dozens of corporate companies come in from all over the country and the world, and hundreds of entrepreneurs come to learn from the latest in corporate innovation. So that would be an exciting opportunity if the winner is able to participate in that. But the first step, of course, will be putting your team together. So trying to anticipate a few questions you guys might have on this front. Teams consist of 3 to 5 members. They should be a US-based graduate student from any US-based college or university, any degree, any program, as long as it is a graduate program. PhDs, MDs are included in that. And team members can be from multiple programs. So you don't have to have 5 MBAs on your team. It can be 5 MBAs if that's who your team is, but you can also mix it up a little bit. You can have a computer engineer with an MBA and an MD and so forth. The only limit on that is they must all be from the same university. So you can't have an MBA from Harvard working with a MD from say Johns Hopkins. You would have to have them from the same university to be on the same team. After you've put your team together, the applications, again, this is due next Friday night, would be pretty simple. You can make a 1-page Word document or PDF file, or maybe a 3-slide PowerPoint deck, just with the following information: your team, the names and bios of your team members, who you are. We want to get to know who you are. We want to state your interest in the theme and why you believe it's important, and how that can really make an impact on the world. And also, what are your qualifications? Why is your group that you've assembled, your team, a good group to approach this problem and solve healthcare challenges? So again, any questions on the specifics of that, feel free to ask them in the Q&A section of tonight. After the applications are through, again, the prompt will be given out roughly 5 days later on September 28th. and the first round will begin. The deliverables for the first round will consist of a PowerPoint or slides presentation, roughly about 10 slides long, answering the prompt that will be given out on the 28th, and then maybe a 2-minute, recorded elevator pitch if you don't have the ability to record or at least a sound bite of your elevator pitch to accompany the PowerPoint slide. They do not have to be hand in hand. As you'll see on the prompt when you receive it, they are actually kind of answering almost separate parts of the prompt. But that's for the first round of submissions. The final round will include up to 10 teams, 10 finalist teams, where each member of the team, if they are physically able to be present in Pittsburgh, we expected to contribute to the final presentation. Right now, again, the date is TBD, but this would take place into the evening, starting at 3 p.m. with introductions and then 10-minute presentations from each of the 10 teams. There would be some time for judges' deliberation, and then final with end with the announcement of the winners, and then a reception and networking hour after that. The judges, for transparency, 2 will be from Optum and 2 will be healthcare industry experts. We will announce who those are as the case competition gets underway. Now, the thing you're probably most interested in is prize money. Just kidding. But it is a larger pot for a case competition. The first winner will receive $12,000. Second place is $6,000, and third will be $2,000. And again, the first place winner will also be invited back to the Corporate Entrepreneurship Forum on November 16th, provided that they can make that date. They would give another presentation based on what they learned from this competition, and get to speak and hope and meet several large companies and their executives that will come to that event. So that's all I have in terms of my presentation and just background on the competition. But if any of you have questions, now I'd like to open up to the floor. You can ask in the chat, or if you don't mind being recorded on screen, you are more than welcome to also ask in person. But if you think I've answered questions that you would have had, you are also free to go. Don't want to hold anyone up tonight, but I'll be here for a little bit more. So please, if you have questions that I haven't addressed, go ahead and fire away. No, this will be our first ever case competition from Corporate Startup Lab. So I'm going to post this recording. We'll post it on YouTube, and then we'll post it on our website at Corporate Startup Lab. It will also be shared through our social media channels. How restrictive is this application? So again, it is open to any graduate student at any American-based university or college. Multiple teams can apply from the same university. However, as we get down to the finalists, it will likely be, depending on how many teams apply, we may have to cut off applications if there are a super amount of applications. It doesn't seem like so far, unless 75 teams apply tonight, that we will be overwhelmed. But we're planning on having at least 100 teams considered for finalists, and then again 10 finalists being chosen from the 100. The minimum group numbers are 3, maximum is 5. If you are looking into do any preparation or research before the prompt drops, again, just the general theme of health equity, marginalized groups, things like that might be something you might want to look into before we drop the prompt. I can't really be specific to give anyone an advantage before that. So all of the judges will be people within the field of healthcare. 2 of the judges will come directly from Optum, our sponsor. 2 will be non-Optum judges.
Test 1. Arlene, are you up and around?
Gregory, I don't know if you know you're
I'm sorry.
not muted, sorry. All right, did I answer everybody's question, or were there any other questions in the chat box I mixed? Yes, if you're a student at an American university, but you're part-time or online hybrid located outside the country, you can definitely participate as long as you have a team that is working with you on campus, on the American campus. It is open to full-time and part-time MBAs, yes. Part-time students in general at any graduate program. Since there are a couple Carnegie Mellon students on campus here, I do have one student that is interested but does not have a team. So if you're interested in picking up another team member, again, this only applies to Carnegie Mellon students, but if you're interested in picking up another team member, let me know. And if you're in a similar situation at another university that can't find a team, let me know. I may have contacts from that university that can help you find another member.
I'm sorry, Sean, I may have missed this point. Hello, everyone. Does everyone have to be from the same institution on the team?
They have to be from the same university or college, yes, but not from the same school within that college. So for instance, at Carnegie Mellon, where we're hosting it, there's the Tepper School of Business. You could have a Tepper School of Business student with a school from the College of Engineering or the College Computer Science. It doesn't have to be the same program, but it does have to be the same university.
Thank you.
All right. So I see someone's looking for a team member for Carnegie Mellon. If you would put your email or send me an email and I can connect you, that would be great. Are there any other questions? All right, if there are none, then thank you guys for coming to the session tonight. If anything does come up, please email me. I'll just put my email into the chat real quick for anyone that needs it. Otherwise, have a great night and hope to see you all apply.